Hi, developers. I'm Evan. I'm your host, and I'm here with Sam, our CTO. And we're going to be talking about a really cool feature today. It's our Tatum gas pump. And what this does, well, if you are operating any sort of custodial app like an exchange or a marketplace or anything else where you hold the private keys to your users' wallets, every time they want to send a transaction of any kind, you have to send some gas fees to them to pay for that transaction. But that right there is two transactions. You're sending the gas fees to them so that they can send their transaction with the gas fees you've just sent them. We have developed a way to cut out half of those transactions and make things a lot easier for you. So the mechanism is every time they send a transaction, the gas fees are automatically deducted from a master account, which is yours. So you're paying for their gas fees, but you don't have to send them the gas fees. So how does this work? Well, Sam will show you.
Thank you, Evan. Hi, guys. Thank you for the introduction. And what we're going to do today, we'll perform a couple of API calls to Tatum API, where we're going to create these different or special type of the smart contract, which will enable you to accept any type of ERC tokens. It could be ERC20s, ERC71s, or ERC1155s. And you can accept all these tokens in one place and then swipe it to different address or transfer it to different address from one master private key. So you can generate, let's say 10, 15, or 20 of these contract addresses, and you will transfer the tokens always from one private key, from one account funded with the Ethereum or Matic or something else, and the gas costs will be charged from this account. So we are talking about these endpoints in our API documentation section blockchain utils, and we are talking about custodial stuff, generate, approve, transfer, and transfer multiple. That's what we're going to cover today, and let's just jump right to it. I'm going to use Postman as usual, and I'm going to perform a couple of API calls. First of all, what you have to do, you have to deploy this special contract, and this contract is deployed for each of your user of your application, which means you don't have only one contract which accepts tokens for all of your users, but you have to deploy it per user of your application. If you ask why, it's because you can, let's say, easily determine who actually made the transfer and to which user you should credit these tokens you are receiving. So much better solution and easier solution for you is just deploy this custodial contract for each of your users. Right now, we will work on a Polygon chain. We can deploy to Ethereum, to Tron, to Binance, basically every Ethereum compatible chain we have in the Tatum API. And we have a couple of possibilities how to actually configure the wallet for the deployment. By default, the wallet can accept each native asset of the chain, which is where the wallet is deployed on. It means that you will send there Matic. If you are working on Polygon, you can send Ethereum on Ethereum, etc., etc. That's the default behavior. And then you can enable one or many of these options, which means you can enable accepting fungible tokens, so any ERC20 token. You can enable accepting non-fungible tokens, which means any ERC71 token. And you can enable accepting any semi-fungible tokens, which is ERC1155 tokens. You can combine these features together, so you can enable fungible, non-fungible, not semi-fungible, or you can accept only fungible, etc., etc. Like all the combinations are possible. And the last option is something we call batch mode. If you enable the batch mode, you can actually swipe different types of tokens to multiple recipients in one transaction. It means your address on the blockchain can hold, let's say, ERC20 tokens, and it could be USDT, it could be DAI, it could be Chainlink, whatever. And you can own also some NFTs. And in one transfer, you can transfer all of these ERC20 tokens and all of these ERC721 tokens to a new recipients in just one operation, which saves a lot of time, a lot of transactions being performed, etc., etc. But it brings, let's say, higher costs for deployment of the contract. So don't talk, let's just deploy a contract, the wallet for me as a new user of the application, and I am able to accept fungible tokens, and I'm able to accept NFTs in a 721 standard. The result is transaction ID. We can check that on the Explorer of the Polygon. That is, transaction was successful. You can see the transaction fee being paid for the wallet generation. And this is the contract address which we have created. This address is the one where you will receive all these ERC20 or 721 tokens or the native Matic tokens. You can also obtain the address programmatically from our API. There is a utility function, get contract address from the transaction, and you can see that we have obtained the same one. Right now we have this address, so we can accept anything. We can accept Matic, we can accept 721s, or we can accept ERC20 tokens. So let's just use the faucet on the Polygon and send some NFTs and ERC20 tokens to my address. I will send their ERC20 token, this one. We need to try a couple of times. Perfect. And right now, let's take a look to this address. We should see the token being received. So we can see that we have received 2 dummy ERC20 tokens. That's what the faucet sends. And we can see it here in the balance. So right now we don't have any Matic. We have just 2 ERC20 tokens. NFTs in a 721 are not available on Mumbai, so we need to mint those from Datum Endpoints. I have some ready-made NFT token available here, so I'll just mint new token to this address. Let's mint it to the custodial address. The transaction ID is there, so we can wait. Also, I will send there some Matics. So we will see that we can accept any type of assets on this custodial contract. So let's take a look how it is. We have received the 0.0001 Matics, and you can see that we own 2 ERC20 tokens, and we have minted 721 token here. So right now in one address, we have received 3 different type of assets: ERC20, 721, and the native asset. Right now, as an application operator or application provider, you want to transfer these assets from my wallet somewhere else. In a normal world, you would have to generate a private key for the address where you own the assets, send there some Matic, and perform the transfer of the ERC20, perform the transfer of the ERC721, and pay for that. Right now, I will operate from one private key, the same one which was used for deploying the contract. And I will right now transfer the ERC20 token from this contract with one private key. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to transfer ERC20 token. So the address of the wallet I want to swipe is this one. I want to transfer ERC20 token, which is this one. That's the token address field. This is the recipient, so this place where I'm going to transfer it. I'm going to transfer one of these ERC20 tokens, and contract type is 0. 0 contract type means I'm going to transfer ERC20 tokens in this operation. When I'm going to transfer 7 to 1s, contract type is 1, and I'm going to transfer native asset, contract type will be 3. For 1155s, contract type is 2. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's check this transaction. And right now we can see that from this master account, we have actually transferred tokens from the custodial address to the recipient. So fee was covered from this master account, and we have transferred tokens from the custodial to someone else. So when we take a look to the contract, we right now own only one dummy token and one NFT and still 0.0001 MATICs. So let's transfer the MATICs from that address. As I said, contract type is free. We are going to transfer from this one, and we're going to transfer all MATICs which are present there. Again, same private key, only where the fee is. So when we take a look, we don't have any more MATICs on this contract address because we have sent them away. We can see in this transaction that we have sent the 0.0001 MATICs away. When we wait, we will see it in the internal transfers here. Perfect. Again, from my master account, I have swiped this custodial contract to a new recipient. Exactly the same applies for the 7 to 1s. So I'm going to transfer from this contract address. Token ID I have created was this one. I'm going to transfer token this one. Contract type is 1 on MATIC, new recipient. This is the private key of the master address. Let's hit send, and we will see that we won't own 7 to 1 tokens anymore after the transaction is confirmed. It's this one, and we can see that the token was transferred. Again, fee was covered by the master address. We have transferred from this contract to someone else my 7 to 1 token. Right now, we shouldn't own any NFTs and only one ERC20. They have cached data here. So that's basically it. We have performed like 5 transactions. We have created the contract. We have received some MATICs. We have received some ERC20s. We have received some 7 to 1s. And we're able to send them out from one specific private key and one specific address, which covered all the fees for these operations.
Thanks, Sam. So obviously from an operational perspective, this is going to save you a huge amount of work in your app's backend, because if you've got millions of users and you need to send them native assets to pay for their gas fees, the amount of time and work and transaction fees really add up. But what about the cost of deploying the contracts, especially on a blockchain like Ethereum where gas fees are pretty high? Does that make sense? Does it pay itself off? So.
Yeah, you are right, Evan. From the operational perspective, this will be a huge cost saver on the provider side. Deployment on the Ethereum, it's quite expensive for this type of contract, but after usually 7 or 8 transactions, you want to perform like 7 or 8 withdrawals of your tokens from the address and feeding their gas. The initial cost of deployment will be covered after 7 or 8 transactions.
Great. So yeah, so it pays itself off pretty quickly, even on Ethereum, and it'll save you a lot of work. So, well, thanks a lot for showing us how it all works. That's really interesting, and I hope this helps you developers. And if you want to take a look at all of the different transactions we've just performed, there is a link below to everything. We're also going to link you to our full guide on how to work with our gas pump and all the different API calls. And we will also link you to the Postman collection. So the same thing that Sam was just using in the demo, you'll have a link to all those calls in one place. So check it out, give it a try for yourself. We hope you enjoy, and see you next time. Happy coding. Bye-bye.